Hello survivors, and welcome to another video. We are going to look at a variation of the meta build which is found on the Barbarian. Now this build that we're going to be playing on the Paladin actually has quite a lot of healing without the Earth Shield. We do use Smart instead, which is another healing skill, which is great. We also use a lot of Purity, which is the healing, the old exorcism, but now it doesn't work all the time. It only works when you hit 4 enemies with the 20 stacks of Purity. So it's a bit weaker now, but still does the same thing with healing us. And when you get a lot of stacks of it and you have 20 Purity, 20 Purity, 20 Purity all the time, it works out pretty well. So this one is quite a long one, so we're actually going to just skip over to the end when I have all the skills and everything. But I did want to speak about the preparations before we get into the actual run, because I need you guys to know what we're doing, because obviously otherwise you're going to be very confused as how we got everything. So first things first is we are going to be running on the second weapon so that we have Heroic Strike. You can either use Heroic Strike or Hammer of Justice. A little bit of less cooldown on Hammer of Justice, but Heroic Strike is just right there in your face and a little bit easier to use. And then we're going to run Arcane Beam instead of Earthquake for the brittle, so we don't use Earthquake. We're then going to run Heartrending Strike. I did want to try and remove Heartrending Strike, but the problem is it has a really low cooldown and it also gives us fragility, and there isn't another skill that gives Bulwark, Finesse and Fragility in the game, so we can't cut out this one. It is a mandatory one for the meta skills, so Heartrending Strike there. We're then going to run ourselves Resonant Slam as well as Seismic Shock, so that we got the prowess and the resilience. And then once we've got our resilience to form, I'll show you what we're going to do after that, and then we run Smart for the healing. So if we look at our runes, we've got ourselves the skill mastery thrust. We've got 4 thrust skills here. All of them give us form and haste, so we're going to take any one that shows up first. It doesn't actually matter. We're going to run a cast frequency on them, or even not. We just want the bonuses that give us resilience to form. We then want form to haste and haste to finesse, and once we've got a couple of those, we're actually going to remove these skills entirely and we will replace them with our where's skill list now. We're going to replace it with Armor Shatterer and a Holy Beam for the prowess as well, and Shattered for the armor reduction. So that's the build. I'm going to just jump forward now to like Overlord 8 or 9 when everything is up and running, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of the build. Here we are at the end of Overlord 8 at 20 minutes and 22 seconds. So you can see all the things that we've taken. A lot of different sharp blade upgrades, a lot of crushing blade upgrades, a whole lot of different upgrades, prowess to resilience, haste to finesse. We didn't really get a lot of haste to finesse, and we didn't get enough of the form to haste, so we are lacking there. This is the exact thing that we do want before you land up changing all your skills. I just wasn't lucky enough to get it, so unfortunately it is what it is. We do have 2 skills that give us quite a lot of finesse anyway, so it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice to have had a lot more form to haste and then haste to finesse, and also resilience to form, which we weren't getting quite a lot of. We did see quite a bit of Bulwark to aptitude, which is good, and we changed all the skills to what we wanted. The only thing is I made an error in judgment. I actually landed up banishing expansive, and as you can see, we've only got area modifier of plus 15. Arcane Beam does not get an area of effect modifier from any of its upgrades, so you only find damage and cast frequency on it, and multicast. You don't get area of effect, and that brings a big issue into clear and giving brittle to absolutely everything. So you do actually want expansives, because you do need the area of effect on Arcane Beam, and that's one of the reasons why Earthquake is going to be better than Arcane Beam, because of having the upgrade to area of effect on Earthquake. So let's go into the next cycle. We'll be at cycle 9. Actually, sorry, I forgot to mention it. We'll do it now just before we keep going. It's the runes that we're using. I did mention the skill mastery thrust, just so that we can use 2 of the thrust skills for the haste, for the resilience to form and form to haste and haste to finesse. So that's fantastic. It's actually just the haste to finesse and form to haste. This one we only need the slam skills for it. But anyway, I digress. The runes we're using are endless refill and efficient extraction. You can get rid of efficient extraction for anything else that you want, but you do need the endless refill for the locks and the rerolls. And then you can use improved repotery, synergetic, war tank, and battle proficiency, and this will be down in the description as well for anyone how to unlock these runes as well if you don't have them, or if you want to unlock them or get to unlocking them. So now we're going to go straight into it. I am going to just close this. You can see we got 3 dodges, and the one thing about this is you can't play this build on full visuals even if you wanted to. The reason is because we're playing on Paladin, we do have to, we can't fully AFK. We do have to pick up our Ascension, and what happens here is we actually can't see anything because of Smart. So the cool thing is that the build can actually do quite a decent amount of Overlord. I don't think we would get into the 12s or 13s. We just wouldn't have the damage. As you can see, we also just take way too much damage. The healing isn't as good as the Earth Shield gets. There's quite a few problems, but I've been trying to move away from those skills because I don't see, I've just been trying to find other builds that maybe work a little bit better than using Earthquake and Earth Shield, or that can be a little bit more fun, to show you guys, because we don't really want to see the same build over and over and over again on absolutely every character, because you can, let's be honest, get all the skills that you need. You just need Earth Mastery and Thrust Mastery or Swing Mastery if they don't have Earth, or whatever the case may be. What they're missing you can just add using Skill Mastery. But I've been trying to find builds that kind of don't rely on the skill masteries. This one we did use Skill Mastery Thrust. We have to, but I'm just looking out there to see what we can get that's slightly different, or that can still push the levels, that's fun to play. And this one was one of them. We didn't get to use Holy Beam, unfortunately. We could swap out like the Seismic Shock, but I believe Seismic Shock is actually dealing quite a decent amount of damage. But you can see we're in a comfortable spot. Every time we take damage we are healing anyway, and I don't feel like we're in any danger of dying. But with regards to kill speed, you can see we hardly killing the bosses any way, quick, shape, form, or anything like that. So it's a little bit unlikely. We're not getting a lot. I haven't seen a lot of what do we call them, upgrades to our skill chain. We didn't get a lot of skill chain, that's the word I was looking for, but we earned a decent amount of crit, a decent amount of crit damage, huge amounts of damage modifier, but that area modifier is really, really bad. Decent block 90%, 85% damage reduction from armor, and then a flat 3 damage reduction over there. So, very, very strong, a very, very fun little build. And because it's so different, it's actually really, really awesome to try these things. So, I don't know, just personal preference. Just not as strong, but definitely up there. I'm also trying to see if there's any other builds that we can run that don't use Brittle at all. So I'm trying to find an exposed build. Again, Brittle is just like king. I've been trying different builds. I'll show you a different build that we've done where we don't use Brittle. We actually end up using exposed instead. And we'll show you just the difference, like how the one is so much further ahead than the other. And it's actually quite gross. So as long as we keep picking up our Ascension, we're going to get those bonus stats, and we are in a very good spot. And we've got good damage reduction and good healing as well because of Smart, as well as all the Purity. So very, very good. We'll see at the end of this run just how much healing Smart did versus the Exorcism, which they've changed to Purity. So we'll see how much damage, the healing, what the difference is between the two. If you do want to use different healing on the Barbarian, there is also the Ground Slam option. So instead of using, you'd still use Earthquake, but then you don't use the Earth Shield. And that way you also end up getting a little bit more skill chain, I believe it is. So you get the swing, you'll get more swing to Earth options, and you'll get more swing skills. so you'll have more swing and therefore more chance to proc the Earthquake as well. So very, very good option. Also, another option is to run Center of Attention with it, because you get the increased area of effect from Center of Attention, and then you also get it so that the Earthquake is procced on top of you all the time, and all you need to do is really just stand near the bosses, and that way it will ensure that every single Earthquake is going to be on top of you, and therefore overlapping and causing as much brittle as possible onto the bosses. So that's another option. There are so many different options that we haven't explored yet that could be fantastic. I did see the other day on the Discord that someone did actually reach Overlord 16, which is amazing. And they used the normal, I believe they used the meta build. I didn't actually look at it, I just saw them post it. And they weren't even using upgraded weapons. So that's the build. That was the Overlord 9. Again, we could probably do 10 and 11, but it's just going to take longer and longer, and then it's not really worth it. I mean, maybe it is if you want to push levels, but you get the build and the gist of it. Over here, you can just keep going for like damage upgrades. You can keep going for unbreakables, keep going for crit, and things like that. There's an area of effect, so we do get area of effect at least from frontal, but that's we a little too late to find that. If we found more of those a lot earlier, we would have been in a much better spot. And we didn't get, even though we had 366 damage, you have to get the damage upgrade specifically for Arcane Beam to upgrade the brittle damage taken amount over there. So let's go through. That's the end of it. Let's just have a look at a couple of the things that we got. One, how many materials? I mean, 8 diamonds, that's trash. Good amount of levels over there, nearly level 300. Arcane Beam dealing the most amount of damage as per usual. Smart's actually dealing quite a decent amount. Even the Exorcism or the healing dealing damage over there, which is pretty awesome. And then you can see the different skills I started off with. I did use Holy Beam and then change my mind over there. So there is that. And then if we go to details, we can take a look. Again, Arcane Beam being there, Heartrending Strike being at the top. Armor Shatterer, we only took it like recently, just before I started recording at Overlord 8. So the fact that it did so much damage is actually massive. Maybe even using it from the beginning instead of something like Seismic Shock seems to be a much better strategy. And then add ourselves the Holy Beam in there for the extra purity. So those are things you can do. Smart dealing a massive amount of healing for us, and then Exorcism not being that great over there. So really, really cool, really, really nice. You can even see it had less time, 10 minutes, but it healed nearly a double, 10 times more. Really, really good. And that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.